While some billionaires build labs to defeat aging, Richard Branson seems to do it by ignoring it. At 74, he still kitesurfs, pilots spacecraft, and runs one of the world's most recognizable brands. Virgin, his secret? A lifestyle built on movement, curiosity, and controlled risk. Branson's philosophy blurs the line between youth and mindset. He calls it staying interested in everything. Scientists now say his instincts have biological truth. Novelty and physical challenge aren't just thrilling. They trigger cascades of hormones and proteins that keep the brain adaptable and the body resilient. Dopamine nudges us to explore. Endorphins and endocannabinoids reduce pain and boost mood. Movement drives myokines, signaling molecules from muscle that talk to the brain, fat tissue, even the immune system. And intermittent doses of good stress switch on repair programs inside our cells. In this episode, we'll examine the science behind Branson's energy, why adventure can sharpen cognition, how purpose and community buffer stress, and how simple habits, sleep, food, routines, knit the whole system together. We'll look at cold water and mitochondria, balance training and neuroplasticity, social connection and longevity, and why joy itself might be the most underrated anti-aging tool. This isn't a prescription to copy Branson's stunts. It's a lens. What elements of an adventurous life, at any level, measurably push biology toward youthfulness? And how can we build them into normal days, safely and sustainably? Richard Branson may never run a longevity lab the way others do, but maybe he lives inside one every time he steps on a board, into a meeting, or onto a spaceship runway. Let's open that lab and see what the data says about risk, resilience, and the power of play to keep us young. Branson built his empire on optimism and action. That same mindset quietly touches biology. Psychologists call it a growth mindset, the belief that abilities can be developed. People with growth-oriented beliefs about aging view later life as a stage of learning and contribution, not decline. That belief shifts behavior: more movement, more social engagement, better sleep hygiene, better medical follow-through. Those behaviors, in turn, shape biomarkers: blood pressure, inflammation, insulin sensitivity. Branson lives that cycle daily. He mines curiosity as fuel. New projects create novelty. Novelty recruits dopamine and attention. Attention becomes persistence. Persistence becomes skill. Skill then feeds confidence. And confidence keeps him trying new things. It's a flywheel. There's also locus of control, the sense you can influence outcomes. High internal locus is linked with healthier stress responses. Branson's default is try, iterate, laugh, try again. He reframes setbacks as information. That reframing lowers chronic cortisol, which protects the hippocampus, a memory and learning hub sensitive to stress. Mindset isn't magic, it's leverage. It nudges daily choices that compound into physiology. When Branson says, staying interested in everything, he's describing a behavioral architecture for neuroplasticity. Small, continuous challenges that keep the brain updating its maps of the world. The lesson isn't to be fearless, it's to be relentlessly curious, and to treat curiosity like a health habit. From free-fall skydives to Virgin Galactic test flights, Branson's life is a case study in adrenaline and adaptability. But what does that buy you physiologically? Acute physical challenges create a controlled spike in stress chemistry, catecholamines like epinephrine and norepinephrine. In the right dose and duration, those spikes sharpen attention, enhance synaptic plasticity, and prime memory formation. Pair that with coordination tasks, kitesurfing's constant micro-adjustments, for example, and you engage the cerebellum and vestibular system, circuits tied to balance, prediction, even language processing. Movement also drives muscle to release myokines such as irisin and BDNF-linked pathways, which support neurogenesis and mitochondrial health. Think of muscle as an endocrine organ. When you move, it talks. Meanwhile, the mechanical load on bone preserves density. Full-body sports sustain fast-twitch fibers that we normally lose with age. Cold exposure from open-sea swims and wipeouts can increase mitochondrial biogenesis, making more, healthier power plants in cells. Cold also trains vasoconstriction and dilation, a workout for blood vessels, and can nudge brown fat to burn energy and produce heat. Importantly, frequent movement maintains insulin sensitivity. Insulin resistance accelerates many aging pathways. Protecting sensitivity preserves energy balance and reduces chronic inflammation. So no, you don't need space planes. You need stimuli. Balance, speed, reaction, cold, heat, load, in cycles your body can recover from. Branson's version looks extreme. Your version might be trail walking with hills, cold showers, dance classes that challenge coordination, a weekly climbing session, or paddleboarding on calm water. The principle is the same: dose excitement, rest, repeat, let biology adapt. Branson's story isn't solo heroism. It's social architecture. He's famous for remembering names, creating playful cultures, and making work feel like a team sport. That matters, because isolation is biologically expensive. Social connection boosts vagal tone, a measure of parasympathetic flexibility, which stabilizes heart rate variability and reduces all-cause mortality risk. Positive bonds tune the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, so stress peaks are shorter and recoveries faster. People embedded in supportive networks sleep better, move more, and adhere to health behaviors. Then there's purpose. A why upgrades our how. Purpose activates reward circuits that make effort feel meaningful, and meaning changes compliance with exercise, nutrition, rehab. On the immune side, people with strong purpose show healthier inflammatory profiles and antibody responses. Branson's mantra that business should be fun is more than culture. It's a physiological intervention. Humor softens conflict, oxytocin improves trust, and trust speeds collaboration. The byproduct is reduced chronic stress, one of the most aging forces we face. We can't all run 400 companies, but we can design our micro teams, a walking group, a maker club, a weekly learn something new night with friends. Purpose doesn't have to be grand. It just has to be felt. Behind the show reel is discipline. Branson wakes early, trains daily, and keeps diet simple and plant-leaning. He limits alcohol, emphasizes hydration, and treats sleep as a productivity tool, because it is. Sleep is where deep repair happens. Growth hormone pulses. Synapses renormalize. The glymphatic system clears metabolic byproducts from the brain. Protecting sleep protects cognition, mood, and metabolic health. Early wake times anchor circadian rhythm. Consistent light in the morning and dim light at night reinforce that clock, improving energy and insulin sensitivity. Food-wise, the longevity through line is boring and powerful. Fiber, colorful plants, quality protein, healthy fats, smart portions. Fiber shapes the microbiome, which in turn shapes inflammation and even neurotransmitter availability. Protein preserves lean mass, especially when paired with resistance training. Omega-3s support cellular membranes and heart health. Routine turns choices into defaults. Branson's habits stack. Wake, move, work, play. Reduces decision fatigue. And when routine is flexible, not rigid, it accommodates travel without collapsing. That flexibility is its own anti-stress technology. The cellular angle? Stable circadian rhythms and nutrient-dense diets are associated with longer telomeres and healthier epigenetic patterns, the chemical marks that tune gene activity. Translation: adventure and structure aren't enemies. Structure pays for the adventure. Not all stress is harmful. Branson practices what physiologists call hormesis, short intermittent stressors that provoke an adaptive overshoot in repair and capacity. Think cold water, heat, altitude, sprint intervals, a hard but brief strength session, or the psychological stress of a bold but bounded project. Hormesis works because cells read stress signals and switch on protective programs, antioxidant systems, DNA repair enzymes, chaperone proteins that refold damaged proteins, and mitochondrial quality control. The key is dosing. Too little does nothing. Too much breaks you. The sweet spot leaves you a bit tired today and more capable tomorrow. Branson's version lives in action sports and high-stakes entrepreneurship. Your version might be a 60-second cold shower after warm water, a sauna followed by a cool rinse, a hill sprint once a week, or a time-boxed creative challenge. Recovery, sleep, nutrition, social support completes the loop. Without recovery, stress is just stress. Over time, well-dosed stress raises your stress ceiling. You remain calmer under pressure, your heart rate variability improves, and your mind recovers faster from spikes. That's resilience, biology's way of saying you're harder to break. Perhaps Branson's greatest anti-aging tool is joy. It's easy to dismiss joy as soft, but joy is hard science. Positive affect reduces cortisol, improves immune cell activity, and supports cardiovascular health. Laughter changes breathing mechanics, massages the vagus nerve, and can temporarily improve pain thresholds. There's also subjective age, how old you feel. People who feel younger often test biologically younger. Why? Feeling young nudges behavior. You move more. You say yes to invitations. You practice skills you think you'll still need later. Those behaviors feed back into physiology, lowering risk. Branson engineers joy. He invites play into meetings, turns launches into celebrations, and mentors younger founders, a reliable source of meaning and novelty. He reframes failure as a punchline plus a lesson. That framing protects motivation and keeps exploration alive. You don't need a private island to cultivate joy. Schedule it like training. One standing plan each week that you look forward to. A game night, a dance class, a sunrise hike, a cold plunge coffee ritual with friends. Track it like reps. Because joy isn't a mood that randomly visits. It's a muscle you can train. And a trained joy response keeps biology in a friendlier state. Richard Branson may never build a longevity lab, because he lives as one. His experiments happen in the sky, the sea, and the boardroom. His variables are curiosity, community, and dose-controlled stress. His results look like energy. You don't need to copy the extremes. Start with the principles. Move daily with coordination and balance challenges. Add tiny hormetic doses you can recover from. Guard sleep like an asset. Eat for long-term clarity, not short-term comfort. Build joyful teams and meaningful projects. Treat curiosity as medicine. The question isn't, is eternal youth in our DNA or in how we live? It's how much of aging can we influence by designing better days. Branson's life suggests more than we think. Tell us what your first adventure dose will be. Something exciting but safe you can do this week. In the next episode, we head back to the frontier of biotech. How AI and synthetic biology are merging to design next-generation human cells. From programmable gene circuits to AI-discovered proteins, we'll explore the tools that may one day let us edit not just how we live,